Yo, daddy-os. It's Greg Huffman here, aka Dratsab, for Dratsab with Pines. This, for this episode, I guess we'll call it, I want to talk about the difference between time capsule media and timeless media. And this shouldn't be a long one. I was just going to touch on it real quick. I was thinking about it, and a lot of people don't like it. In other words, it's like, it's a show of they'll say about it like a movie. It's a show of its time, you know, or like it makes outdated references and shit like that. I was thinking about, you know, there's some timeless movies, or I shouldn't just say timeless, but movies that set it up to where you can't tell what time it is. Like It Follows. The whole point of that with the director was like he wanted to have these. If you see the phones, they have like these actual clamshells, and he's like, he wanted to put shit in where you couldn't actually tell what time it was, which I'm fine with that in that instance. But I do also like, for instance, one thing I'm playing right now is Borderlands 2. It's the first time I played it. I played the first Borderlands like, less than 10 years ago, but like maybe 8. And I don't really remember a lot about it, but for this one, it's interesting because fucking Claptrap's like, oh, do you like my dubstep song? And I went, oh yeah, I remember. Hey, Bercy. Yes, you're very cute. Meow. Hey, I'm doing a video, buddy. That'll be a time capsule of the cat in case he goes the way of all mortal souls, shuffled off the mortal coil. All right, now for the end of that depressing, to apply the sedative effect upon your lacrimal glands. Let's get back to business. But all right, for Borderlands 2, there's also a Leroy Jenkins reference, which I think that predates the 2010s. That was like 2006 or something. And then there was like a challenge, like a Yo Dog. So Yo Dog, we heard you like challenges, so we put I don't know. I just remember there's a whole bunch. I couldn't tell you all of them. I was struggling to think of some more of them that are in Borderlands 2. I can't immediately think of them. But then also I had funny people running on the background. It was so funny where like it shit's on Facebook and it's like it promotes MySpace. Like and then reminds me of Iron Man where he's like, I don't see this on your MySpace fucking profile. But not even about Facebook, but when I was watching funny people, he was on YouTube, and I was like, oh yeah, they had the 5-star system back then. I remember that. That was back when I was doing those dratsab reviews, and they had the fucking 5-star system instead of the thumbs up, thumbs down, and it was just kind of a nostalgic, kind of a cool thing. So I was thinking, you know, like a lot of people shit on these time capsule movies. Like you shouldn't put in things that'll outdate your movie, but I actually do appreciate it because it's kind of fun to go back, and even if I think some of the jokes in Borderlands 2 are cringe or silly, or it's still cool to be reminded. It's almost like it reminds you of the memes of the day, and you know how programs were different. It's kind of cool to see the evolution of, you know, how website design, like the YouTube on Funny People, that movie came out like 2009, I think. And it's kind of cool to see how different the internet looked back then. That wasn't even that long ago. It's not like you're watching 95's The Net or fucking Hackers or let's say some late 90s movie or fucking 83. Whenever 80 was 83 War Games came out, the fucking Matthew Broderick movie, you know. But it's just so cool seeing kind of like the old tech, and not just old tech, but like old references. I like that shit. Like, I think that should be appreciated. You don't want to put that in every movie because then it would some movies, you know, might feel more dated, but it's just, I think it's really cool to see that in a movie. Or in a game in the case of Borderlands. There's a lot of it in Borderlands 2, and I really like it. Even when it's silly, like just how funny dubstep now. It's like, I remember when everyone is like dubstep. It's like all over the place. And now, like, I never hear about dubstep. And so I was like, we did references, like, oh yeah, dubstep. That was the thing back then. So I really think that's cool, just to be reminded of those things. I love to, like, it keeps us knowledgeable about the past, I think. And I like that kind of media, that it exists. So I would definitely like to see, you know, more of that. I don't think it should just be purely shit upon and be like, you know, you shouldn't put you know, certain modern time references in your media because it'll be outdated. Yeah, it will be outdated in a sense. Like the jokes might not land anymore if they ever did, but there's something, it's like a wine. It's like you're gonna change it eats away the sugar, but it leaves the fucking, you know, how's it fucking yeast work exactly? I'm trying to remember, but it's something like that. It's a change. It's a fucking, what do you call it? There's a sublimation. It's like a sublimated effect. It's kind of cool just to be reminded of the past, and it's important to have that. So I think that's the importance of that kind of media, you know, whether it's in books. I don't read a lot of modern books, fiction books at least. So maybe John Green. I'm sure he put some references. He has to, but I won't get into that. But yeah, video games, still my favorite art form, even though it's harder. They're not as, I would like to see them become more ubiquitous, or that's not the way to put it, universal. Like, I would like to see maybe all games, just like any system you can play any game on, and it's just handled differently. That's probably what I'd like to see in the future of games eventually, but that's a separate rant. I guess I'm going to sign off here. I kind of went longer than I thought I was going to go. Not still too long. It's according to this clock here, just 6 minutes. That's not too bad. But I just want to cover, you know, get a feel for what I'm talking about. The difference between like timeless media, where it works no matter when. Like the jokes can land anytime, and that's great. You want timeless movies, but time capsule movies or media serve their purpose too. You know, they remind you of what the past was, and there's room for both of them, I think, in media. So I think it's pretty cool. Sometimes I get to a point in these videos where I start to be tautological. What they call it, but yeah, tautological, we'll stick with that one. Or I just start to repeat myself, I feel like, in different ways, just to make sure people understand what I'm getting at. So I think that's probably about this point. I think I may be like, oh, fuck, I should have included this reference here. But I think you pretty much get it. It is just cool. Like, I like when movies age, so I can notice some of these things sometimes. And yeah, it's like different haircuts. I remember, you know, there's some, yeah. All right, I'm going to start to fucking get into rambling and desultory language. All right, I'm signing off. Great. This is Dratsab opinion on the importance of not only timeless media, but time capsule media. Out.